The chandelier in the Langford Family Country Club's dining room throws rainbows everywhere, scattering light across mahogany tables that probably cost more than my car. Dust floats through Clarissa's cloud of Chanel No. 5. I trail after the maitre d', he's got that smile, the one he saves for people about to get dumped by their own family over a glass of something expensive. Reginald checks his Rolex again, third time in half a minute, before I even sit down. Clarissa fusses with her pearls, every movement practiced until it's basically muscle memory. Beatrice lines up her iPhone like she's shooting a movie, her smile all teeth, everyone falling automatically into their assigned seats, everyone ready for the big performance. Intervention day. Eliza. Clarissa's voice drips with that soft warmth she uses when she wants compliance. You look lovely, darling. I'm wearing the same gray sweater I had on last Tuesday. She didn't notice then, either. I sit down in the chair the maitre d' offers. Of course, it's the one facing all three of them, like I'm about to defend my whole life to a panel of judges. The leather groans under me. Somewhere in the kitchen, a pan crashes to the floor. Just normal noise, but nothing here is normal. Clarissa slides a slim velvet box across the table. Jewelry box, probably. She lines it up precisely between the salt and pepper. A fresh start, darling. We think you'll adore Austin. I open it. Plane ticket one way. Leaves in 48 hours. Reginald sets a check down next to it. Perfect placement, steady hands. Your seed capital, Eliza. $15,000. Use it wisely. Already signed. Already dated. They printed it before I even got here. Beatrice slides her phone an inch to the left, angling for the light, her Yale Law Review smile stretching wider. She's waited for this, probably already picked out the Instagram filter. I know this act. The choreography, the rehearsed speeches. They've practiced for months, and I'm supposed to break down, right on cue. My mind wanders back to last year, the Langford Family Charity Gala at the Ritz. I showed up straight from field testing at AquaForge, still in hiking boots, mud on the soles. I thought they'd get it, maybe just this once. Harrison Blackwood, Reginald's top client, the guy who practically owns half his bonus, cornered me by the champagne. His laugh cut through the music. Reginald, I didn't know you hired the garden staff for your parties. Reginald's face went ghost white. Later, Clarissa grabbed my elbow so hard she left marks. You humiliated this family, Eliza. It will not happen again. That was it. I saw it in the look she shared with Reginald over their glasses, the exile to Austin, locked in. But this pattern started earlier. I was 8. Beatrice's piano recital landed on the same night as my science fair. I won first place, built a working water filter from stuff in the kitchen. Miss Peterson said it was the best project she'd seen in 20 years. Eliza understands sacrifice, Reginald told me in the car as we drove off to Beatrice's recital. My trophy sat at home, collecting dust. Sacrifice? I lived it. Debate team always canceled for Beatrice's mock trial. Internships dropped because family obligations meant Beatrice's schedule. My environmental science degree, expensive charity work. Her Yale Law acceptance? Framed in the dining room. I was always the daughter who didn't fit the mold. Now Clarissa watches me, waiting for tears. Reginald's already reaching for his water, bracing for his tough love speech. Beatrice's thumb hovers, ready to hit record. I let the silence hang. Let them think they've finally won. Thank you. My voice stays steady. I'll be smart with it. Reginald relaxes. Clarissa's smile softens, relief in her eyes. The Eliza problem solved. Beatrice's face falls, no tears for her video, no drama for her feed. I fold the check, careful, crease it once, and slip it into my purse. The paper's thick, expensive. The kind Reginald saves for deals that matter. They don't know about the wire transfer. 18 million confirmed 2 days ago. It's sitting in my account while they hand me 15 grand like it's a golden ticket. They have no clue that Julian Vance, the CEO of AgriCorp, actually called me himself. Or that Professor Harlan sent my recovery data straight to the Agritech Summit. Or that their awkward daughter, the one who never really fit in, built something someone wanted to buy. Reginald holds up his wine glass. To fresh starts. I lift my water glass and smile. Let them think I'm grateful. I'm not. 6 months before the velvet ring box and that one-way ticket to Austin, I sat in Professor Harlan's office at Stanford, watching him take apart my AquaForge proposal with the calm precision of a surgeon. The idea's fine, Eliza. He tapped his pen against my presentation. 3 months of work, now just 18 stapled pages. But the data's thin. Right now, it's just a class project. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Somewhere down the hall, a coffee maker beeped. Everyday sounds, but the moment felt like falling. I expected tough questions, methodology, scalability, the usual. Not a flat dismissal. What would make it more than a class project? I asked. Proof your algorithm works outside a controlled environment. He slid the proposal back to me. Right now, you have theory. Investors want results. I walked home through campus, past students celebrating finals, past the coffee shop where Beatrice and I used to study before she left for Yale. The proposal felt heavier in my backpack than it should. Theory. Just a class project. I'd heard that refrain my whole life, from Reginald when I picked environmental science instead of economics, from Clarissa when I explained carbon sequestration instead of discussing wedding venues like Beatrice, from every family dinner where my research faded into the background behind Beatrice's latest headline. But Professor Harlan wasn't family. He didn't need me to fail. So he was probably right. I spent the next 3 weeks living in the university library, running on vending machine coffee and the kind of stubbornness you get from a lifetime of being underestimated. The Callaway Innovation Grant wanted 12 pages. I gave them 30. They wanted 1 recommendation. I got 4. They wanted a budget breakdown. I built a full financial projection model. The acceptance email landed at 2 a.m. $75,000. I called home from the empty lab, too excited to wait for morning. Clarissa picked up on the 4th ring. That's nice, dear, she said, her voice distant, distracted. Listen, Beatrice just made Yale Law Review. Can you believe it? Youngest editor in 15 years. Mom, I won the Callaway grant. It's one of the most competitive. That's wonderful, Eliza. I need to go. Your father's on the other line with the Yale Alumni Association. She hung up. The click echoed in the empty lab, the fluorescent lights still humming. My laptop glowed with the acceptance email, $75,000 in validation, but it couldn't compete with Beatrice's latest trophy. I stared at my AquaForge proposal, at 3 weeks of sleepless work, at proof I could build something real. Then I got to work. The grant money went straight to an outsourced development team in Bangalore. I spent weeks interviewing them, picked every contract apart to make sure I kept all the intellectual property. Every line of code got documented, time-stamped, backed up 3 ways. I hired David Morrison, a part-time data analyst who worked nights and weekends, squeezing in sensor network builds between teaching high school physics. One evening, Professor Harlan stopped by the lab and found me elbow-deep in calibration protocols. You're serious about this? You said I needed field data. I didn't even look up from my screen. I'm getting field data. 3 months later, I had my pilot program, a small family farm outside Fresno. 3rd generation. Desperate enough to try an unproven system from a Stanford student who promised better irrigation. The algorithm went live on a Tuesday in March. By Thursday afternoon, I knew something was wrong. Soil moisture readings were all over the place. The irrigation schedule triggered at weird times. I watched from my laptop as 30% of their test crop drowned because my system insisted they needed water. The farmer called. His voice stayed calm, controlled in that way people get when they're watching their livelihood die. We're shutting it down, Eliza. Give me 48 hours. I can fix this. You've had 3 months. The crop doesn't get 48 hours. I sat in the lab surrounded by failure data, watching my grant money wash away in a flooded field outside Fresno. Every sensor reading, every algorithmic decision, every mistake, mine. That evening, Reginald left a voicemail. He'd already heard about the farm through his network. Of course he'd heard. Bad news runs on rocket fuel when your last name matters more than anything you make. Eliza, it's your father. I heard about your little agricultural experiment. Maybe it's time to try something more suitable. Call me. He wasn't shocked, not even close. Honestly, he sounded almost relieved. Then Clarissa texted, "Darling, there's no shame in trying. Not everyone's cut out for entrepreneurship." And then Beatrice, 3 crying laughing emojis, then, "Heard you drowned some vegetables." I turned my phone off, pulled up the failure logs, started reading. Somewhere in 3 months' worth of code, thousands of lines, endless tweaks, and predictive models, there it was. The mistake that cost a farmer 30% of his crop and gave my family exactly what they'd always expected from me, proof I couldn't do it. I didn't leave the lab for 3 weeks. I ordered Thai food I never ate, brewed coffee I kept forgetting, slept 2 hours at a time, hunched over my desk, waking up with censor specs stamped into my cheek. At 2:30 a.m. on a Wednesday, I found the error. One tiny variable initialization, so simple and so perfectly disastrous, I almost had to smile at it. I rebuilt everything, line by line. In the end, the new algorithm ran 40% more efficiently than anything I'd predicted. The recovery data showed something else, too, something I hadn't planned for. System resilience. The platform learned from its own screw-up and adapted. It got better. I sent the new analysis to Professor Harlan at 4 in the morning. An hour later, he replied, "Conference room, 9 a.m., bring everything." So I walked in with 3 months of recovery data. He studied it for 7 minutes, absolute silence. Then he picked up his phone. "I'm getting you a slot at the Agritech Summit," he said. "Don't make me regret this." Julian Vance sat in the 3rd row when I took the stage, scribbling notes while I explained how a total collapse made the system stronger. How the recovery logs proved real, adaptive resilience. How AquaForge wasn't just working, it was groundbreaking. 2 days later, his technical team called for senior engineers, grilling me on every line of code, every result, every forecast. 6 months I'd spent documenting all of it, decisions, failures, breakthroughs. Turns out, my obsessive records were my best weapon. 24 hours later, they sent the offer. $18 million, Director of Sustainable Development at AquaForge, Chicago. I saved the wire transfer confirmation, but told no one. Not Professor Harlan. Not David Morrison. Definitely not my family. That secret felt like armor. Like proof. Like everything they'd said I'd never be. The dessert arrives in a crystal dish, pretty enough to throw light around like accusations. Creme brulee. Clarissa's convinced it's my favorite, though I've hated it since I was 12. She never noticed me pushing it around on my plate, making patterns in the burnt sugar, never eating a bite. I crack the sugar. It's loud in the careful hush of our table. Reginald leans back, chair creaking, getting ready for a speech. I know the signs: cufflinks, then collar, just like before every big client meeting. "Eliza, your mother, and I have given this a great deal of thought." His voice is all boardroom power, shutting down arguments before they start. Sometimes tough love is the greatest gift a parent can give. You need to find your own path, without the shadow of family expectations. Honestly, it would be funny if it weren't so on brand. Family expectations are all they've ever given me. Clarissa dabs at her eyes with a napkin that probably costs more than my rent in grad school. Her tears are perfect, enough to catch the light, not enough to smudge her mascara. "We want what's best for you, darling. A fresh start where you can really discover who you're meant to be." Who I'm meant to be. As if I didn't already figure that out in a Stanford lab at 3 in the morning, rewriting algorithms until my eyes burned. As if I hadn't already become exactly who I'm supposed to be, right under their noses. Beatrice is grinning now, not even pretending to hide it. Her phone's on the table, openly recording, catching every angle of my so-called defeat. She'll edit this later, maybe throw in some cheesy music about family and fresh starts. "This is exactly what I needed," I say, keeping my voice soft, a little grateful. "Thank you for seeing what I couldn't see myself." Reginald relaxes. Clarissa reaches over, pats my hand, her diamond rings cold and heavy. Inside my head, I'm doing the math. They're 15 grand versus my 18 million. Their country club dues stacked against my Director of Sustainable Development salary. Their carefully staged intervention against the wire transfer confirmation sitting in my inbox, dated 2 days before this dinner even started. I've already won. They're too busy putting on a show to notice. The waiter circles by, topping off our water. Someone at the next table bursts out laughing. Life just rolls on while my family scripts my exile, totally clueless that I'm 3 steps ahead in a game they don't even realize we're playing. There's power in this silence. Strength in letting them believe their own version of events. I spent 23 years jumping through hoops for people who never even glanced my way. Now, I don't have to prove anything. I'm free. They handed me freedom, gift wrapped in velvet with a plane ticket tucked inside. Beatrice's phone buzzes. She glances down, her smile sharpens. Posted. Not really whispering, just making sure I hear. Her fingers dance across her screen. She's a pro at this. My phone vibrates in my purse. Once. Twice. Then a rapid-fire burst. The family WhatsApp is exploding. I know what she posted without even looking. Probably chopped up clips from tonight, edited so I look lost and they look like saints. Some caption about new beginnings and family support. Maybe she even threw in a prayer hands emoji for good measure. Replies start pouring in. I can picture Cousin Bradley, always the fixer. Marketing could be perfect for her at my Austin firm. Aunt Patricia teaching? Something simple might be just the thing. Uncle James, these young people need guidance. Good for you, Reginald. The family narrative is locking into place as I watch. Eliza the failure. Eliza the lost cause. Eliza, graciously rescued by her loving family. Another vibration. Different rhythm. Not WhatsApp, text message. I wait until Clarissa wanders off to greet someone. Reginald gets sucked into a conversation about interest rates, and Beatrice is absorbed in her own social media stats. Then I check. Professor Harlan. Heard about AquaForge. Don't let anyone dim this light. I close my eyes for a second. Open them. The country club chandelier still sparkles above. The creme brulee sits half-eaten, perfect on its fancy plate. Another text lands. Marcus Chin. Chicago's lucky to have you. Drinks when you get here. Then a third. Unknown number, but the signature's obvious. Apartment viewing schedule attached. Welcome to the team. Julian Vance's office. 2 phones. 2 lives. One for the show. One for what matters. While the Langfords keep spinning my story on WhatsApp, posting, commenting, shaping me into their family project, the one who needed saving, AquaForge legal team wraps up my employment contract. My Chicago apartment has a view of Lake Michigan. Professor Harlan is lining me up for speaking gigs. Marcus is looping me in with people who actually built something from scratch. Chosen family versus blood. The difference has never been clearer. Clarissa returns, Reginald right behind her. Beatrice finally puts down her phone, satisfied with her chronicle of my downfall. Walk me to my car? Reginald says, but it's not a request. Outside, the parking lot reeks of money. New leather, expensive cologne, that unmistakable scent of privilege. Valets whisk between cars worth more than most people's houses. Reginald's Mercedes waits under a spotlight, black paint gleaming, our shapes warped in the reflection. He turns toward me, face softening into what he probably thinks looks fatherly. This is for your own good, Eliza. Someday you'll thank me. The night air is cold. I hear other families leaving, car doors slamming, laughter echoing in the dark, everyday sounds for people who didn't just stage an intervention over dessert. I look him straight in the eye. I already do, Dad. He stares, searching my face for sarcasm or anger. He won't find it. I mean it. He taught me I was on my own. That some people will never see your worth, no matter what you do. That sometimes the greatest gift is realizing you don't need their approval. Those lessons? Worth every penny. Good, he says, clearing his throat. Austin will be good for you. Fresh perspectives. I nod along. Sure, let him think that. Back inside, Clarissa's on the phone with Eliza's college friends, her face set in that classic worried mom expression. She's explaining the intervention, spinning the story before I get a chance to tell mine. Beatrice is already typing away on her laptop, probably drafting a LinkedIn post about supporting struggling relatives, the importance of tough love, family values, all that. They're closing ranks, rewriting history, making sure everyone hears their side first. I pull out my phone and start documenting. Screenshots of the WhatsApp chat. Voice memos marking the time and place of Reginald's little parking lot speech. Pictures of the check, the plane ticket, the velvet box. Evidence. Data. Proof. Let them think they've won. Let them have their narrative for now. I'm building mine, step by step. Recording everything. Leaving a paper trail they can't even imagine exists. Sunday night, I'll board a plane, but not the one they bought. Monday morning, Forbes drops an article they never saw coming. 48 hours and their carefully rehearsed version detonates into something they can't control or spin or explain away. I head back to the table. Clarissa's crying again. Beatrice is working her angles for social media. And me? I'm smiling. Really smiling. Because they just handed me the best gift, the freedom that comes when there's nothing left to prove. Sunday morning, sunlight slides through my windows, catching dust drifting from 2 open suitcases on my bed. I'm folding a thrift store sweater when the doorbell rings. No warning. Classic Clarissa. I peek through the peephole. There she is, Starbucks cup in hand, Sunday brunch outfit crisp and spotless. Darling, I thought you might need help packing. She's inside before I can say a word, already scanning my place like she's appraising real estate. Moving is so overwhelming, she sighs. As if I haven't handled 3 international containers and a corporate relocation package just last week. I gesture at the suitcases. Just finishing up. She sets her coffee on my counter, no coaster, of course, and picks up my Stanford diploma from the pile by the suitcase, tracing the frame with a single perfect nail. You won't need your diplomas in Austin, dear. Fresh starts mean leaving everything behind. This diploma's a fake. I shipped the real one to Chicago on Tuesday. You're right, Mom. I take it from her, set it back down. Fresh start. New beginning. Her smile actually looks real for a second. I'm so glad you understand. She heads for my closet and pulls out my interview blazer, the good one, navy tailored. And this is far too formal for Austin's casual culture. The real blazer's already hanging in my Chicago closet. This one? $19 at Goodwill yesterday. I was thinking the same thing. I fold it neatly into the suitcase. Clarissa watches as I pack thrift store jeans, clearance blouses, everything picked to look like my real wardrobe. She nods at each choice, satisfied I'm dismantling my life the way she wants. Your father and I are so proud of how you're handling this. She sits on the edge of my bed, careful not to wrinkle her linen pants. Not every young woman accepts guidance with such grace. Grace. That's her word for surrender. My phone buzzes. Clarissa glances at it, but I'm quicker. It's Julian Vance's assistant, confirming my furniture delivery to Chicago. I mute it. Just the airline, I say. Confirming my flight. She relaxes. Good. She stands, straightens invisible creases from her blouse. I'll drive you to the airport tomorrow. Make sure you get off safely. There it is, not motherly worry, but verification. She wants to see me board, watch the doors close, confirm the exile. That's really thoughtful, Mom. Her coffee sits untouched on the counter, lipstick mark on the rim. She never drinks it. She didn't come for coffee. After she leaves, I sit on my bed, surrounded by suitcases full of someone else's clothes. The Austin boarding pass is on my nightstand, bought with my own credit card, printed right here. It'll never get scanned. My real flight to Chicago leaves 3 hours after the Austin one. Different airline, different terminal. There's a kind of poetry to it. They taught me this. How to perform one reality while living another. How to let people see exactly what they expect. I just got better at it than they ever were. Monday morning, 8:30 sharp, Reginald's email lands in my inbox. I watch it come in from Gate B, 17 at O'Hare, waiting for my Chicago flight. Subject, family update. Body, short and to the point. Eliza has relocated to Austin for a fresh perspective. They say this change will give her valuable clarity. Valuable clarity. That's his code for cutting me off. He sends the email to everyone he knows professionally, 200 people he's collected over 3 decades. Investors, clients, board members, all of them. The message isn't subtle. Don't help her. Don't hire her. Don't even answer her calls. I'm holding my second coffee when Clarissa's Instagram post pops up. Family photo at Beatrice's Yale graduation. The three of them posed like a magazine cover. I'm gone, cropped out so neatly you'd never guess I was ever there. The caption, our little Yale Law Review star. So proud of Beatrice's accomplishments. Family first. Proud mom. 37 likes in 5 minutes. 20 minutes later, Beatrice posts her own story. My apartment door, shut, the number easy to read. Then a shot of the empty parking spot where my car used to be. Her caption is in that sugary script, when siblings choose different paths. Wishing her well. Already 300 views. They're not just cutting me out, they're erasing me. My boarding group gets called. I silence my phone. Grab my carry-on. The Austin flight already left from the other terminal. I bet Clarissa watched it taxi away, convinced I'm on it. The flight attendant scans my ticket. Welcome aboard, Ms. Langford. Chicago is waiting, my corner office at AquaForge, my penthouse with a view of Lake Michigan, this new life I've pieced together from their rejection. The plane engines start up. 9 a.m. Eastern. Forbes publishes the article. Somewhere over Indiana, my phone buzzes so hard it nearly slides off the tray table. Wi-Fi crawls, but the headline finally loads, crisp and undeniable. AquaForge acquires revolutionary AG tech startup, AquaForge, for $18 million. Underneath, 23-year-old founder Eliza Langford's irrigation algorithm promises to transform sustainable agriculture. My headshot, half the screen. The one Professor Harlan insisted on last month. No cropping. No erasing. Me, front and center. The article lays it all out. The Callaway grant, the farm test disaster, rewriting the algorithm, the acquisition deal, my new job at AquaForge. Director of Sustainable Development. I check LinkedIn. Professor Harlan posted 6 minutes ago, proud of my student Eliza Langford. True innovation happens when brilliant minds refuse to accept failure as final. Congratulations on the AquaForge acquisition. 43 shares already. Stanford's account posted 5 minutes later, the photo from the grant ceremony, me with the giant check, Harlan at my side, both of us grinning. Congratulations to Stanford environmental science alum Eliza Langford on the successful acquisition of AquaForge by AquaForge. Making a difference in sustainable agriculture. AquaForge announcement dropped at 9 sharp. All business. All welcome. My bio talks up the algorithm's efficiency, my new role leading the Sustainable Development Division. Marcus starts a Twitter thread, honored to have worked with visionary founder Eliza Langford on AquaForge. Watching brilliant people solve impossible problems never gets old. The counter-narrative writes itself. Honest, unstoppable. Meanwhile, Reginald's assistant tries to track him down. Harrison Blackwood's office calls the house. Clarissa's charity board president leaves voicemails. I picture Reginald at his desk, his assistant holding out the iPad with the Forbes story, his face going pale. His phone rings. Harrison Blackwood, personally. Reginald, why didn't you ever mention Eliza's company? I would have invested. 18 million. That algorithm could change everything. Clarissa's at tennis Monday morning, her phone lighting up. Her charity board president, delighted. Clarissa, we had no idea Eliza was in tech. Can she speak at our spring gala? Our donors would be fascinated. Beatrice sits in her Yale Law Library study room, classmates drifting over, curious. Your sister sold her company? Why didn't you ever mention AquaForge? The family WhatsApp group explodes. I turned notifications off yesterday, but I check it anyway. 37 new messages. Confused aunts and uncles, congratulatory cousins, everyone asking why nobody knew. Aunt Patricia, Eliza sold her startup? For millions? Cousin Bradley, wait, Eliza's a tech executive now? Uncle Richard, why are we just hearing about this? Their story falls apart in real time. Every lie, every dismissive comment, every cropped photo, suddenly suspect. I save the Forbes article to my phone. Screenshot Professor Harlan's post. Archive AquaForge welcome. Evidence. Proof. By the time we land at O'Hare, I have 43 missed calls, 16 voicemails, 62 texts. Most from people I haven't heard from in years. 3 calls from Reginald's office line. 7 from Clarissa's cell. 12 from Beatrice. I don't listen to any of them. Not yet. My driver meets me at arrivals, holding my name on a tablet. Efficient. All business. Nothing like Clarissa's constant, suffocating watch. Welcome to Chicago, Miss Langford. The skyline rises ahead. My new beginning takes shape, built on their rejection. Let them scramble. Let them call. I'm already gone. 2 weeks after they give up trying to reach me directly, the letter arrives. Shows up Tuesday morning. AquaForge General Counsel forwards it, subject line, legal matter. Requiring your attention. Makes my coffee taste like metal. I open the PDF in my Chicago office. Lake Michigan stretches out gray and flat beyond the window. The letterhead? Whitmore and Associates. Reginald's favorite firm for his nastiest negotiations. Formal demand for settlement over AquaForge intellectual property. The language? Surgical. Calculated. I can see Reginald's fingerprints all over it, dressed up in legalese. They claim a fiduciary interest in AquaForge because of substantial family investment during development, and say I created the IP while living at home. The $15,000 check is now, apparently, seed funding, an equity stake in the company. Their demand, 30% of the acquisition price. $5.4 million. Or they'll take it to court. I read it twice. The audacity catches in my throat. That check, they handed it to me at the country club like I was some lost cause. Severance pay for the family disappointment. Now they call it venture capital. Now they call it ownership. My desk phone lights up. Julian Vance, calling from the executive suite upstairs. Eliza. His voice is tight, like a CEO guarding his assets. I assume you've seen the letter. Just now. Our lawyers say it's baseless. Your IP paperwork is airtight. But they're making noise, working back channels. He pauses. Clarissa Langford contacted 2 of our board members yesterday. Concerned calls. Family disputes. Your stability. My jaw tightens. Of course she did. Clarissa always knows which strings to pull. Beatrice is drafting an op-ed, Julian goes on. Something about startup ethics and family obligations. Her Yale credentials give it a weight she never earned. I close my eyes. They're coordinated, as usual. Reginald turns up the legal pressure. Clarissa works her network. Beatrice shapes the public story. Same performance as always, just scaled up for the big leagues. What do you need from me? I ask. Nothing yet. PR is drafting a response. Vague, but firm. We protect our people, Eliza. His voice softens, almost paternal. But I need to know if there's any truth to their claim. Any handshake deals? Any family money in development? None. I have receipts for every dollar. The Callaway grant. My savings. Nothing from them. Good. I can hear the relief. Then let the lawyers handle it. But after we hang up, I just stare at the letter. At that $15,000, suddenly transformed. At Reginald's signature, neatly printed on the firm's letterhead. My phone buzzes. Professor Harlan, seeing chatter online. You okay? I don't answer. Instead, I open Twitter. Tech Twitter already has the story. AquaForge PR statement dropped an hour ago, spinning it as a meritless attempt to exploit a young founder. Replies rally behind me, calling out the family drama. People share stories of relatives crawling out of the woodwork after success. Someone's dug up Beatrice's Instagram, the posts she wiped after Forbes. Screenshots are everywhere, with comments about hypocrisy. Her Yale Law Review friends are already distancing themselves with careful, professional statements. Reginald's reputation is bleeding out in real time. Investment blogs question his judgment. Colleagues wonder why he didn't see my potential in the first place. I should feel vindicated. Instead, all I see is the wreckage. The lengths they'll go for a payout. Their own credibility shredded. Their careers, relationships, whatever was left of our family. All for 30% of something they called worthless 6 months ago. I forward Reginald's letter to my personal email. Read it again on my phone. The whole argument hangs on that one check, their supposed seed funding. That check I never cashed. I open my banking app. The image is still there in my deposit queue. Photographed, but never processed. $15,000 from Reginald Langford. Memo line, Fresh Start Fund. Not AquaForge Investment. Not seed capital. Fresh Start Fund. Their own words, undercutting their entire case. I could just send AquaForge lawyers this image. Let them tear down Reginald's argument in depositions and filings. But that's not enough. That's still playing by their rules. I tap deposit check. The app whirs. 30 seconds crawl by a loading screen, then done. Transaction successful. 15 grand, just like that, in my account. I snap a screenshot, confirmation, timestamp, memo line, every detail. My hands don't shake as I open my email. I forward the screenshot to AquaForge General Counsel. Quick note, for your records. Full payment received and accepted. Next, I draft a new email. This one's a direct reply to Reginald's lawyer. CC, Reginald Langford. Clarissa Langford. Beatrice Langford. Subject line, re. Your client's final payment. Body, attached. Please find my acknowledgement of your client's payment. Thank you for finalizing this matter. All future correspondence goes through my legal counsel. I attach the screenshot, the check. Their investment, accepted for exactly what it was, payment, severance, the price of my exile. I hover over send. For a second, I'm 8 years old again at the science fair. I see Beatrice at her piano recital. I remember the long list of surrenders, years of being the daughter who understood what sacrifice looked like. I hit send. The email whooshes off. 30 seconds later, 3 red receipts pop up. Reginald. Clarissa. Beatrice. The silence is total. I open my contacts. Find Reginald Langford. Block. Clarissa Langford. Block. Beatrice Langford. Block. My phone feels lighter without them. Outside, Lake Michigan flashes silver in the afternoon sun. A sailboat slips across the horizon, heading somewhere I can't see. I save everything, the letter, the threats, the demand. Documented, as always. But this time, it's not defense. It's victory. They train me to keep records, to be precise, to prove everything. They just never thought I'd use those skills on them. 6 months later, morning light pours through my Chicago penthouse windows, turning the lake into hammered metal. I drink coffee from the mug Professor Harlan sent me, the one that says data doesn't lie, though the letters have started to fade. My AquaForge Innovator Award sits half-hidden on the bookshelf, behind a stack of industry journals. I never bothered to mount it. Didn't need to. The team photos from AquaForge have replaced the old family portraits. These are the people who really see me. My calendar dings. 3 meetings today, all important, all with people who care about what I've built, not what name I was born with. The check, $15,000, hangs framed in my powder room, preserved under glass, the punchline it deserves to be. Guests always ask. I tell them it's a reminder. The best investments are the ones you make in yourself. Tonight, AquaForge throws its holiday party. I'm speaking about failure and recovery, about how the disaster in Fresno taught me more than any success ever could. The young engineers need to hear it. Brilliance isn't about never making mistakes. It's about documenting every screw-up so you don't do it again. The venue sparkles with that corporate holiday gloss, tasteful greenery, soft lighting. I'm mid-story about rewriting the algorithm when I spot him weaving through the crowd. Harrison Blackwood. Reginald's star client. The guy who once compared me to garden staff at a charity gala. He waits until I finish clapping with the others, then steps forward. Miss Langford. Harrison Blackwood. I heard your presentation at the Agritech Summit last spring. Remarkable work. We shake hands. His grip is firm, respectful. He has no clue we've met before. The room keeps humming. That old ache for family validation tries to surface, but it fizzles out, quiet this time. Harrison jumps into technical questions, soil sensors, predictive modeling. He's done his homework. He sees the algorithm now, not the dust on my boots. Later, back in my office, I update my calendar. Tomorrow, monthly mentorship call with Professor Harlan. Thursday, scholarship committee for my Unlikely Innovators Fund at Stanford, a fund for students whose families don't get what they do, who need someone to trust their data before they trust themselves. Therapy is Wednesday. Still processing. Still learning that some wounds linger in places no algorithm can reach. A young intern pokes her head in. Maya. Brilliant with systems architecture. unsure about everything else. Miss Langford? Do you have a minute? I wave her in. My family doesn't really get what I do here, she says, twisting her badge. They keep asking when I'm going to get a real job. I just wondered if that ever happened to you. I close my laptop and look at her, really look. Sometimes distance is the best gift you can give yourself, I tell her. Not out of anger. Out of preservation. Her shoulders finally relax. Relief. You're actually helping, Maya. Trust yourself. Trust your data. She leaves lighter, like a weight fell off. I know that feeling. I used to walk out the same way. Christmas Eve shows up, but the snow just dusts the ground. It never really sticks. I check my phone and see 47 missed calls. All from numbers I stopped blocking, but still tucked away. I listened to the last voicemail once. It's Clarissa. She's really crying this time. We miss our daughter, Eliza. Please. It's Christmas. I don't answer. I just archive it and move on. My real family, chosen, not born, starts arriving at 7. Professor Harlan walks in with wine. Julian's got boardroom gossip and some wild news story. The rest drift in, agri-core friends carrying food, jokes, and that easy sense of belonging you only get when people choose you. We eat, we talk. Nobody brings up my old family. Not once. Later, I'm at the sink, washing dishes, and catch my reflection in the black window. Lake Michigan sprawls behind me, cold and endless and beautiful. It's still my face. The one they tried to erase. The one they found lacking. I'm still here. Still working. Still growing. Thanks for the seed money, I think. You taught me I could grow anywhere. Even especially in exile. The quiet settles in, soft and heavy, like cashmere. Warm. Earned. Mine.